Welcome to Peony. And we're talking about peony tree specifically, not peony flower. So we're talking about Peonia suffruticosa, the tree, not Peonia lactiflora. This is a plant that goes way, way back. Both do actually. Peony altogether goes way, way back in traditional Chinese medicine, healing records, if you will. And one of those key records is the Shen Nong, called that for short. And it's an herbal classic. And it's considered probably the oldest materia medica pharmacopoeia in the world as far as being a written document, probably compiled from oral tradition. So it goes back even further than what was written. And the version that we have is from the 1st and 2nd century AD. And going back on before that. And it's attributed to Shen Nong, and he is one of the great legendary emperors of China, believed to be somewhat of a mythical character. He was a deity. And he is the one that sort of created this tome on agriculture and healing medicines and poisonous herbs. That was a sort of a big concern, understandably. So we're looking at Peony Tree from this connection that it has with this Chinese herbal classic. What can it tell us about this plant? There's 3 volumes in the classic with 365 entries. Isn't that interesting? Same days as a year, of medicinal plants. So volume 1 contains 120 herbs, and they're considered to be the noble or upper herbs. And they're things like licorice, red jujube, orange, as in orange peel, bitter orange peel. Do check out our website at whiterabbitinstituteofhealing.com to find out more about all of these herbs. Cinnamon's another one, eucomium, beautiful herbs. Very nourishing, very tonic, very, very safe. Volume 2 is what they call the more human herbs, more common or middle herbs. And there's another 120 therapeutic herbs in this volume, and it's tending more towards healing the sick. So these first volume 1, you can use them to heal the sick, but they're also tonifying and tonic and safe. So you're kind of preventing problems with them. It's one of the main reasons to use them. They're that safe, you can use them that frequently. This second volume, you're getting a little bit more into people being sick. Ginger's in this volume because even though this is a wonderful, safe herb, if you use too much ginger, which people can do, you get that burning sensation. It can really upset your stomach. So not toxic in as it's going to kill you, but it's going to not be just like take it and live happily ever after no matter what you do. Peonies falls in this category because it has some potential for toxicity. It's not severe, but the compound peonol, it's kind of like ginger, that's found only in the tree. Research has not shown it to be in the flowers, but in the tree, especially in the roots. It's in all parts of the plant, but especially in the roots. And it's the root bark that is most frequently used. It can cause mild gastrointestinal issues. The compound also happens to have neuroprotective, anti-inflammatory, anti-diabetic, cardiovascular healing, properties. So it's an important compound, but again, kind of like ginger, healing. But you go too far down a path, and you've got some real problems. You could get liver issues. So you want to pay attention to this. Cucumbers on that list, and we tend to think of just cucumbers as being like very safe, but they were referring specifically to the root of the plant. The root of the plant can cause birth defects, seizures. So while the rest of it's safe, that part. So you can see how intimate they were with their agriculture, with their healing herbs, with their plants. And volume 3, of course, is what they call the low herbs. And these are 125 entries, and they're really strong or have violent action or are outright toxic unless you really do something to properly prepare them. So rhubarb, for example, this is a very purgative herb. We eat rhubarb. But as a medicine, it can be really purging, so that's a really strong action. Peaches, peach pit has, the kernels are used medicinally, but they can also contain cyanogenic glycoside. So think cyanide when ingested, so you want to be really, really careful about this. So that's the third category. So peony tree falls in this second category, and it's considered very, very good at eliminating blood stagnation. And the root bark is what's used, and this stagnation can be caused by emotional stress, qi deficiency, because qi and blood are intimately connected. If your qi gets deficient, the blood's going to start to slow down and get stuck. It's not going to move. That's what qi does, is move. And blood is this very yin, moistening, nourishing, cooling, energetic. Poor diet, too many greasy foods, too much alcohol, things like that can really mess you up. Then, of course, you have injuries that can cause blood stagnation. And blood stagnation differs from qi stagnation because qi stagnation is more energetic. So it's going to be more achy muscles. Blood stagnation, it's a stabbing pain. It really hurts. And that's one of the ways to know it. And this is why, as a blood stagnation moving herb, peony tree root bark is often used for abdominal masses, fighting cancer, moving stuck menses. So very, very wonderful herb to know about, used for centuries, very safely. But you want to understand its history here, because this shows you, being in this Shen Nong, that this herb is one of the ones that has been used way beyond the book was ever even written. And used properly and safely, you will find it in many, many formulas. Peony tree. Visit our website at White Rabbit Institute of Healing and find out more about what it can do for you.